Good afternoon, everybody. Matt Trahan, Director of Athletics at Old Colony here with the big Bedford Buck, Keith Mangan. Keith, hope all's well, kicking and rolling. How you doing?
I am outstanding, Matt. How are you today?
Love to hear that you're outstanding. I am as well, outstanding. Keith, here we are kicking off another year, another season of our Mssada Podcast. Before we get into it and kicking and rolling, I want to give a big shout out. As you can see, our sponsor and our partner, unbelievable job that they do. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company across the country. If you're looking for fundraising or you have needs for your teams and your school, look no further. Gold Athletics, the premium fundraising company. Did that off the cuff. Didn't even read a word. I'm telling you, I'm starting to get this thing like it's riding a bike.
Like a well-oiled machine, Matt. Well-oiled machine.
Love it. Love it. I know, this is a busy time. We're all, kicking off the school year and, they've got a lot going on, and certainly feel for our comrades in arms. We've dealt with some weather and humidity and rain, and seems like the sky is falling, but, we're all doing our best. How you making out?
You know what? I hear you. Last Friday was certainly hairy. Off and on. We had one delay, but we got the game in. But I tell you right now, I just came in from outside, and right now, today's the day we've been waiting for. There's not a cloud in the sky, and it is glorious outside right now, Matt.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
We got to figure out how to do this podcast outside or from remote locations. I know we talked about it. I know we both booked our trips to the national conference down in Orlando this year. So we might have to run this from down there, I think.
I think it's a great idea. I'm figuring some palm trees in the background, maybe a cerveza or something along those lines. Might be nice.
Might be
very nice.
Could be.
Yeah. So, personally, I want to kind of get into a little bit, but how was your summer?
It was great. Had a little snafu with a little travel arrangements early on, but we, the family pulled together and we made it work the best we could. And then we do our trip to Plum Island every year that we've been doing. This is something like a little over, 22, 23 years now. Wow. So, and then, as you know, 2 weeks ago, I celebrated, you can see the sign still up in my office, the big 5-0.
Oh my goodness!
It hit. So we're there, man. We're there, but we're back in the swing of it now. What about you? Are you happy to be back in, or what?
Of course, happy to be back in. It's year 20, sitting in this seat. So it is like riding a bike. It's great to be back with the kids and the coaches. I'm blessed to have some great people. But you know what? Summer didn't go by fast initially. And then, as always, you get to the middle and you go, it just keeps rolling. You go, wow, it's already that time.
Yeah, but as you said, that weather was a nightmare, back off and on. It was just all the rain we got. Well, we were at the beach. They actually shut the beach down for a couple of days because of, we're right by the mouth of the Merrimack River and all the stuff flowing in and everything like that. It was a disaster. But, we made it work. We had some fun in spite of it. And, we move on. We need to
make the best of it. I will say this, and I think a lot of our colleagues would probably admit the same. I think it's difficult to go from, potentially, calling your own shot and, getting up and, whatever time you feel like getting up and, doing stuff around the house to now, not so much punching the clock because I don't think any of us do that, but you're back to work and, you're there late. So it's, I'm finding that, like anything else we've been doing in a long time, that it's not as easy to get stuff done around the house or, things done with family as it was this summer.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this on here and outside of here as well, that the importance of time management and trying to, make those lists and prioritize things. And when you have those moments at home, you want to be able to rest and sit and relax. And there are times you got to get stuff done too. But I know my grass looks like a small jungle out there right now. So, hopefully tomorrow afternoon before I take off to an away football game, I'll do a quick cut before the rain comes back in, depending upon what happens, if we get hit with the hurricane at all. So, I know for us, the other AD we're playing is going to be away this weekend. So he asked me if, just to keep in touch, if we're going to change. And it just looks like some wind and a little bit of rain as of right now. That could change any moment, but I know down by you guys, it's supposed to hit you guys, a little bit hotter than up here.
Well, I mean, that being said, let's go back to the previous point where we started with the first 2-3 weeks of the season has been difficult weather-wise.
Yeah.
I will have you know that I'm 2-0 this week. Okay.
Nice.
So, you're watching the weather. I know all of us are meteorologists. We're all watching the weather, and that's a difficult job of the AD. But it was raining in Taunton, potential thunder and lightning yesterday. We played 2 varsity games here.
Yeah.
It totally got soaked for 10 minutes, and then the sun came out.
Yeah.
We got both games in.
Yeah.
Day before that, same thing. Coach rolled the dice. JV football. We got a couple other games in, and I go, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. People want the games to happen, but you also have to be respectful of the situation and the kids that are involved. So it's definitely a happy dance, and it's stressful.
Oh yeah, and that's what people don't get, and other parents who I know, my kids play high school sports now as well, and it's like, oh, you must be constantly looking at the weather. I'm like, that's all. That's all I do. Then I find myself on Saturday afternoon after I left a varsity soccer game here, going to Tewksbury. My daughter had a field hockey game, and I'm looking at the weather app all over again. I'm like, wait, I need to put this away and just watch a game here, and whatever happens. And that was nice to be able to do that.
Just enjoy. Yep.
Yeah. And listen, I know your boy had a big trip to Cooperstown. Got to play on the big field this summer. Tell me about that.
Oh, it was awesome. My family and I, we don't typically go camping. Yeah. So we ended up finding, it was a 2-bedroom. I wouldn't call it camping. I'd call it glamping. But we found.
I was just gonna say that I picture the Trahans a little bit more glamping than camping.
Yeah, you're not gonna find this guy in a tent. So so we did what we did. We were a couple minutes away. What an experience!
Yeah.
What a great time. He's with a super nice group of kids, and we loved it. It was a nice little mini vacation. And my other boy Jackson, we ended up taking him to the lake and did a little fishing and and stuff. But Hudson finished his 12-year-old career, hitting a home run and throwing him basically 5 innings, hits. So I told him, I said, hey, you know what? You couldn't have wrote it any better. Now it's time to move on to the big field. So
yes, yeah.
Good stuff.
Especially, are you still coaching? Are you on that first base sideline still?
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm just like this.
Yeah.
Try to get him over. Try to get him over.
Wave him in, Wendell.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. We lost one game in a tournament that we won the championship, and the gentleman from Dartmouth had said to us after we lost to Hopkinton, he goes, I got bad news for you. He goes, you got Bedford. And we played Bedford.
Yeah.
And the result of that.
Well, listen, I know one of my coaches was down there as well and said, what a great, out there as well, had a great time. And that was awesome. Funny. Small worlds.
It really is a small world. Yep. Sure is.
I remember last year when we were down in Nashville for the national conference, and we're walking over to walking back from the Opryland, and past Mark Rarick from out in North Dakota, who came and presented at our conference, and from talking about podcasts, the whole spin of the off-duty ADs. I actually drove up to Maine for hockey on Sunday for my son. And I was listening to an episode on the way to and episode on the way home, and I know they're done with that, but it's still still great stuff just to pass the time a little bit while in the road. It
really is. It's very informative. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously I did a series of episodes with on another podcast, and I do miss it. I do miss it because it's nice to kind of get all of that get all of that out and promote what's going on around the community and stuff too. So
absolutely.
But Keith, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a few different things. One of them is let's talk about the association. And before we get to final forms, which I want to talk to you about, let's talk about our new leadership in Ann Tritko as the executive director, as well as Tom Toppy, who's taken over for me as the president. So we had our meeting last week. I thought it went fairly smooth. Let's talk about this year and what things to come. Yeah.
So as you just alluded to, big changes this year. Fran Witten, after I don't even know how many years it was, but Fran has retired again from Mssada, and we'll miss his tutelage and his leadership with the organization. Obviously, not his friendship, because we'll both stay in touch and stuff. We're still waiting for that lobster and steak tip dinner again. I don't know if he lost our phone numbers at the wrong time or right time for him. Right. But I thought those were coming out, and but Ann's doing a great job. She went off to the National Executive Directors meeting and came back with a bunch of information, and had our first meeting, I thought, pretty well. And Tom, now the big man, now El Presidente, El Jefe, he did a great job. Ran his first meeting and I thought it went very smooth. And despite occasional comments from the cheap seats, that we tend to do from time to time. But looking forward to see how everyone leaves their mark on the organization. And I know we've joked around. We say kind of that first VP role is the real hard one, because you're running the conference in essence, along with our conference coordinator Mike Denise. But Jim Quattromoni will step in and do a great job this year as the first VP, and Kelly Farley Wolf as our second VP. Now Jen Garvin has joined us as our third VP. So, great group of people, bring a lot of experience from a lot of different walks of life. So it's super exciting to start all over again and get hit the ground moving.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's a collection of great athletic administrators. That board, I think it's some of the best of the best. But one of the things that I've said before on this podcast is that it's a great opportunity to get involved and see how things are done in different parts of the state by some of the best, right? So, great ideas come out of that. But my greater point is that, it's an organization of ADs for ADs, right? Yep. So, we're trying to service the state, and then, you also referenced, leaving your mark. I think, 1 year term, it goes by pretty quick. So I'm sure Tom will be blinking his eye, and it'll be March. But I think, you as a past president, myself, you're trying to do the very best you can for the association, for the membership. And I think, the last couple of years have been great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thrilled that I'm, staying on the board with you and so many others. I think it's a really, one of the best committees that I've been on over the last 20 years.
Absolutely. And you also alluded to a little bit as well. And I know everyone got their email that came out from Tanya, who's, once again, the work that Tanya does is, what kind of keeps us going here.
Yep.
But we launched our new membership platform and using Final Forms and AMP. And everyone got your email notifications. If you haven't done it yet, please go on, check on to your click on that link and update your information. We're going through and clearing membership registrations. I know some people got some emails from the NIAAA asking about their membership expiring and things like that, and just hang in there, folks. Once a bunch of people are doing their registration through paying their dues through their institutional forms through the MIAA, and once that money comes over, we'll update you. I'll take care of that, and we'll get the ball rolling here. But I just renewed, I think, 156 athletic directors Monday afternoon, and
excellent.
As that information comes from Jan Martin over the MIAA, we'll update more as we go. And the process right now is on the easier side, but it's only going to get easier once Final Forms and AMP takes over the whole membership process through the NIAAA, which is great.
I can tell you, Keith, obviously I jumped on board a little early with Final Forms, and I was always I won't mention the company's name, but it's the company that a lot of people have used in the past. And I got to tell you something. Final Forms is legit, and I'm not saying that. We're not getting paid to say that. We're not receiving anything. This is from AD to ADs. If you're looking to simplify your life, I mean, honestly, that program it puts the ownership on your coaches and your athletic trainer, so that on a daily basis, not you as the AD, but your coach will check the roster, and if they are in all green, they are good to go. If you have somebody in red, it's a halt, it's a stop, it's a wait, and that young lady or young man has to hold off until they're cleared by the trainer. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. As far as, emailing parents and teams, there's so many filters. It's at the tip, the tip of your fingers. It's awesome.
Yeah.
From a guy who went from, 3 pages back to back signed forms and physicals to another program to this one. This program, in my opinion, is lights out, and customer service that you get with Frank and Dakota and all of the others, it's unbelievable. So much so that I think 33 states associations are using them. So
yeah, you know what I mean? And you can't, I think we're actually 30, either 35 or 36, but it's like, I just pulled it up and it's amazing. We're constantly looking for ways to make our life easier, right?
correct.
And things might change or this, that, whatever. I know, way back when I started as an AD shortly after you did that, working with Schedule Star was the big program that was out there.
Yeah.
That was created by an AD to make a AD's life easier and then kind of changed. And, and some people moved away from that. Some people have stayed with it. But, I think looking for we're constantly looking for different reasons, things that are going to meet our needs.
Yep.
You use Final Forms. I use a program which is like a homemade program through our student information system, which works out for us, and meets our needs. So for the moment, but constantly looking for ways, when we're at our conferences, at our state conference, at the national conference, looking for those ways that's going to make our life easier.
You hit the nail on the head, Keith, because you dove into the next point, and the next point is going to talk about our national conference, which is coming up in December.
Yeah.
But since I've started to go over the last 6 or 7 years, I always try to come home with a nugget, something that's going to benefit my kids, my school, the athletic department. And this past year, it was Final Forms.
Yep.
And again, you go from one thing to another, and there's always a little bit of growing pains.
Yep.
This was seamless.
Yeah. So, and I still remember we were talking with the folks at Final Forms last year, and, to go back as well, I think it was last year while we were away in Nashville is when we squared away our deal with Gold Athletics.
Absolutely.
Matt came through for us, and as you've already alluded to, is a great supporter of our kids, and you can see how many people are using his product and working with his team members. I know Steve Ash is his guy up here that we work with Steve a lot at our school, and it's great to have those people come in, but also have that personal relationship as well. It makes it a lot more worth it. So
100%. 100%. You know what? We only surround ourselves with the best, right?
It is.
And it's nice to know that you're, almost, I don't want to say you have inside information, but at the same point in time, what's coming down the road.
Yep.
You know that, hey, like I would walk the conference hall and say, that why are there so many people around that booth? Yep. Why are so many people listening to, to this? And I'd walk by and I'd listen and say, I don't know if I can afford that. And then when you dive in a little bit deeper, you go, you know what? It's affordable. It's worth it. It's, so.
Yeah. That's funny. When you say surrounding with the best, I look right behind you. I see that belt back there, and it's that a little styling and profiling right there too. So,
woo!
Absolutely. And
and
you hit the nail on the head. It's you want to meet new companies and you want to meet new people, and so much of what we do, the vendors are what run our state conference.
Right.
We'll pay for our state conference, and we wouldn't be able to do some of the stuff we do without them. As the same, that give and take relationship. So it's, you and I have talked about this. So much of what we do depends on the relationships that we build with others and other ADs or coaches or officials or our signers, the parents, in the community, and first and foremost, the kids. So it's so important that we have those relationships and be able to do that stuff with kids.
I can't even tell you, how much I've gotten out of the national conference, our own conference. I know it's 2 conferences a year, but you know what? I mean, in this position, as you know, it's constant change, whether it's a podcast or whether it's a new social media account, whatever it may be. It's, it's getting the message out. It's branding your school. I'm looking forward to going to Orlando. I mean, I know you're going too. We're all booked, signed, sealed, delivered. And obviously we'll be delegates for the state of Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
I think, if I had to recommend to a young AD, get your feet under you, do a couple of years. And then, when you feel comfortable enough, get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved. Look at your state, association, and whether it's MIAA, getting on a couple of committees or getting involved with Mssada. It is truly rewarding. I will say that over the last 5 or 6 years, I feel as though it's been the best because gotten involved with Mssada and seen how the inner workings of an organization such as that works.
Absolutely. And it's you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? That I was involved with this, and I think you had a similar path. That at the end of my first year, I got involved with Mssada, former president and former AD within our general area, started the mentoring program, and I got involved with that at the end of my first year, and like I thought it made sense. Like I want to. Things that I'm trying to learn right now, I'd imagine that other new APs are trying to learn the same thing, and pitfalls and things that that we're going to experience. We talked about this job never being boring. At times, you pull your hair out, but there's always a challenge, which is so great about it. So getting out there, we'll be putting out. Tanya will send a communication out soon, initial one, and then as we get close to the conference, I'm looking for people to volunteer or to present or to work as moderators, and those are all the things that we need people. And as important it is to get down there and to get away a little bit and learn a little bit, we still need some help. So hopefully people will take advantage of those opportunities.
Couple of things before we wrap and roll here is couple of first and foremost, again, Andy Christofoli, be on the lookout. There's going to be a newsletter that's going to be coming out within the next couple of days. If you haven't done so already, check out the MSSADA website. We've updated that. There's a number of new things on there. And, if it's on the cutting edge, if it's something new, if it's something that you need to know, again, Tanya is phenomenal at getting the message out. And then certainly we follow up with a tweet and, an email, as well as, putting it on the website. So, it's an exciting time. I figure, we could get together and kind of kick off the year here and in a positive way. And obviously, next month we'll have a very special guest on. And we'll continue to do that.
Yeah. And the people who get on here and are watching this, if they'd like to see our ideas, they'd like to see, shoot us an email or text or a tweet or anything like that. Or I guess we can't call it a tweet anymore. An X.
X.
Still getting used to that, but that's okay. What do you got on tap for today? What do you got for home games today?
We got a little bit of everything. So we got our soccer's in action, and we've got volleyball going, and it's really been great to see the kids get back. And for me, when you have freshmen come in and they're extremely involved. And I can't always say that for myself. Some classes are very involved, others are just a sprinkle here and there. This is an excellent freshman class, so I'm pretty pumped about that. How about you?
It was only home games today. We got girls varsity and JV soccer versus Shawsheen.
Nice.
Next town over. Yeah. But volleyball's on the road, and field hockey's on the road, and then we got football tomorrow night. We're taking on MC this week, so we'll see. We're on the road, heading over there. So
very nice.
Rocking and rolling, buddy. Rocking and rolling.
We're going to get back together again soon in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to. Always a pleasure talking with you, Keith. You're a wealth of knowledge. One handsome dude. What I do want to say before we leave,
don't forget about the great haircut.
Listen, I'm working on it. It is. The more I do this, I go, I like his look better than mine. That being said, Gold Athletics, folks, don't hesitate. Reach out. They are the premium fundraising company, and we are associated with them for the next 4 or 5 years. They are awesome. If you have a need, there's something that you want to get for your team, your school, reach out, look no further. They are the premium fundraising company in the state of Massachusetts and across the country. Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise. Keith, Big Bedford Buck, I wish you luck today, this week. We'll get together again soon.
You too, buddy. Take care. We'll see you soon.